One coin carries a seller's handwritten claim, gem. The other carries an independent grade, sealed in plastic. Before slabs, buyers had to decide whose opinion they could actually trust. The answer transformed coin collecting, but it never made every coin equal. Let's begin with one raw Morgan dollar and one very familiar word, uncirculated. At first, that description seems pretty straightforward. The coin has not entered normal circulation. But uncirculated does not tell you how well the coin was preserved. It also doesn't tell you how many marks there are on Liberty's cheek, whether the fields are heavily disturbed, or how strongly the coin was struck, or how well its luster survived. That problem becomes even clearer with the word gem. Gem creates an image of exceptional quality. But where does gem begin? How many marks are acceptable? How weak can the strike be? How much luster disturbance is too much? Different knowledgeable people can examine the same Morgan dollar and answer those questions differently. Now, that does not automatically mean that anyone is being dishonest. Grading has always involved judgment. But before independent certification, the person making that judgment was often also the person selling the coin. So you weren't buying only the coin, you were also buying the seller's eyesight, their terminology, their standards, and importantly, their reputation. And that mattered even more when the coin could not be examined in person. A collector ordering from a printed advertisement or a fixed price list might receive only a brief description and a small photograph, if a photograph was even provided at all. The lighting could not move, the coin could not be tilted, the buyer could not examine the surfaces before sending their payment. The seller's description became the coin until that package arrived. A trusted dealer with a strong reputation and a fair return policy could bridge that gap, but the market still lacked a grading opinion that could travel independently of the seller. In 1949, Dr. William Sheldon introduced a numerical grading system in his book Early American Cents. His original system connected the condition and value of early large cents. Those commercial relationships did not survive, but the numbers did. Over time, the 1 through 70 scale expanded into a general grading language for United States coins. The familiar descriptive categories became connected with narrower numerical ranges. About uncirculated became AU. Mint state, or MS, began at 60 and extended through 70. This gave collectors and dealers a more precise way to describe condition. Two coins could both be uncirculated while occupying very different quality levels. But the numbers also created an illusion. Numbers look measured. When one Morgan dollar is graded 64 and another 65, the difference can appear as exact as weight or diameter. It's not. A numerical grade remains a professional judgment based on observable evidence and accepted standards. The number organizes the conclusion. It does not eliminate the human observer. One grader may place greater weight on exceptional luster. Another may react more strongly to a focal mark. A third may see a weak strike differently. The coin has not changed. The judgment has. The numerical scale gave the market greater precision of language. It did not create certainty of measurement. And even a reasonable condition judgment cannot answer a more fundamental question. Is the coin even genuine? If a date has been altered, a mint mark added, or the entire coin counterfeited, debating whether it deserves a mint state 63 or a mint state 64 misses the real problem. The object is not what the buyer believes it to be. As coin collecting expanded, especially through transactions conducted at a distance, Collectors needed an expert opinion separate from the seller's claim. In 1972, the American Numismatic Association established the American Numismatic Association Certification Service, now known as ANACS. Its initial focus was authentication. That order matters. Before evaluating condition, someone first had to establish what the object was. Was the coin genuine? Did the date and mint mark belong there? Had an important feature been altered? ANACS allowed an outside organization to examine those questions independently of the sale. The seller could still own the coin and establish the price, but the conclusion about authenticity no longer had to come from the person making the commercial claim. Early ANACS certification used photographic certificates. The document identified the coin and showed images of its obverse and reverse. Later, ANACS expanded into grading as well. This was a major improvement, but the physical system still had a weakness. The coin remained loose. The certificate remained paper. They were connected by photographs and records, but they were still separate objects. A certificate could be lost, damaged, or separated from the coin. The market had developed an independent expert opinion. It had not yet found the most efficient way to keep that opinion attached to one specific coin. A modern slab can look like ordinary packaging, but its real function is much more important. The coin is present. Its identity is present. The assigned grade is present. The certification number is present. And the organization responsible for the opinion is identified. The tamper-evident holder keeps those elements together as one transferable object. Now, tamper-evident does not mean tamper-proof. Holders can be damaged or counterfeited, and certification information should still be verified. But the slab solved this central physical problem. It attached a professional conclusion to one specific coin in a form that could travel with it. The buyer no longer had to hope that a loose coin and a separate paper certificate had remained together. The coin, identity, grade, certifier, and evidence of sealing became one recognizable package. The holder also offered physical protection from ordinary handling. But its greatest innovation was not simply placing plastic around metal. It protected the relationship between the coin and the professional opinion. In 1986, the Professional Coin Grading Service began its operations. PCGS did not invent authentication, numerical grading, or every form of encapsulation. Its importance came from combining professional grading, authentication, encapsulation, a guarantee, and a broad dealer participation network into a system designed to operate at commercial scale. NGC followed in 1987, helping establish third-party grading as an industry rather than a one-company experiment. That structure changed how coins could move through the market. Consider a raw coin offered by a distant seller. The buyer must evaluate the seller, interpret the written grade, judge the photographs, consider its authenticity, and then understand the return policy. Every uncertainty adds friction to the transaction. Now consider a coin in a recognized certified holder. The buyer can immediately identify the grading service, read the assigned grade, check the certification number, examine available records, and compare the coin with other certified examples. The buyer should still inspect the coin and evaluate the price, but several foundational questions have already been organized. What is the coin? What grade was assigned? Who assigned it? Is it still sealed with that opinion? Can the certification be verified? This made certified coins easier to recognize and transfer through dealer networks, auctions, coin shows, mail order transactions, and eventually the online marketplaces. The slab did not eliminate trust, it relocated part of it. The seller remained responsible for the terms of the transaction. The grading company became responsible for the professional opinion represented by the holder. And the collector remained responsible for deciding whether the actual coin and the asking price made sense. That is how an individual grading opinion became market infrastructure. Standardized grades made pricing information easier to organize. They did not guarantee a sensible price. Adjacent grades can carry dramatically different values even when the visible difference between the coins is subtle. That creates powerful incentives. An owner may resubmit a coin hoping for a higher grade. A buyer might pay a premium because one number is more desirable. A seller may emphasize the label while giving less attention to the appearance of the coin. And none of those actions is automatically improper. The danger begins when the number replaces the analysis. A 1-point difference can be financially important without being visually important to you. A coin can be accurately graded and still be overpriced. And a lower grade coin can be more attractive than another coin with a higher number on its label. Certification reduces uncertainty. It does not remove judgment, incentives, or risk from the market. It also doesn't make the plastic itself authoritative. A holder matters because of the organization behind it, its standards, graders, records, guarantee, reputation, and continued ability to verify the certification. That is why a numerical label from an unknown company may not carry the same confidence as one issued by an established and widely accepted service. Modern security features help protect that confidence. Holder designs, labels, barcodes, holograms, online certification records, and reference images have all evolved. But no single feature should be treated as absolute proof. A certification number can be copied. A label can be imitated. Even a genuine number may belong to a different coin. Verification comes from comparing the evidence. Does the holder look correct? Does the certification record match? If reference images are available, do the marks and toning correspond? And does the coin itself look consistent with what the label claims? The strongest conclusion comes when the holder, the record, and the metal all agree. Now return to the two coins from the opening. Both Morgan dollars carry the same numerical grade. If the label communicated everything that mattered, these coins should be interchangeable. They're not. Begin with Liberty's cheek. One coin may have several small marks that don't really dominate the portrait. The other may have one interruption positioned exactly where your eye lands first. The number of marks might be similar, but their visual effect is not. Now, examine the open fields. A group of fine lines near the edge may attract little attention. One stronger mark in front of Liberty's face can become the defining feature of the entire coin. Placement matters. Then, move the light. One coin may display a strong, continuous cartwheel. The other may show haze, breaks, or areas where the luster loses its energy. That cannot be fully understood from the label. Now examine the strike. Look above Liberty's ear, at the cotton leaves. Then flip it over, look at the eagle's breast. One coin may have cleaner surfaces, but a softer strike. Another may have stronger detail and luster, but more marks. Two coins can reach the same overall grade through different combinations of strengths and weaknesses. That is why grading is not a scratch counting contest. The assigned grade compresses surface preservation, luster, strike, and eye appeal into a shared market category. That compression is useful. It's also incomplete. Same grade does not mean identical appearance. And it doesn't mean equal desirability. The holder tells you that a professional grading process placed both coins within the same numerical category. It does not require you to prefer them equally. This is what collectors mean when they say, buy the coin, use the holder. Don't ignore the holder. Authentication, certification, verification, guarantee protection, and market acceptance can all matter. But don't ask the holder to perform a task it wasn't designed to perform. It can't move the light for you. It can't decide which surface your eye prefers. It can't tell you whether one focal mark will become more distracting every time you examine the coin. And it can't determine whether the price makes sense for your collecting goals. The holder is evidence. The coin is also evidence. Use both. So before coin slabs, who could you trust? You could trust a knowledgeable seller with a strong reputation, accurate descriptions, fair guarantees, and a willingness to stand behind the transaction. But that trust was personal. It existed between one buyer and one seller. It did not always transfer easily when the coin changed hands. Numerical grading created a more precise language, but it did not make condition completely objective. Independent authentication separated the coin's identity from the seller's claim, but early certificates remained separate from the coin. Encapsulation brought the coin, identity, grade, certifier, and evidence of sealing together in one package. Third-party grading then turned that package into market infrastructure. The slab did not eliminate trust from coin collecting, but it made part of that trust portable. That is what certification accomplished. But portability is not perfection. Read the label, verify the holder, understand what the grade communicates. Then look beyond the number. The metal still carries evidence the label cannot fully express. When you examine a certified coin, what captures your attention first? The coin or the number on the holder? Let me know in the comments. The slab gave collectors a shared numerical language, but it never made grading completely objective. So why can two qualified graders examine the same coin and still reach different conclusions? Watch why two expert coin graders can disagree next.